Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for any upcoming videos. Now let's get started. Hey cousins, did you know about Sarah Baartman? Her story is one of heartbreak, an eye-opening tale of exploitation, resilience, and the ongoing fight for dignity. They tried to erase her from humanity, but today we're bringing her story to life. Buckle up because we're about to deep dive into her journey from her early days in South Africa to the horrors she faced in Europe and how she became a powerful symbol of resistance. Sarah Baartman was born around 1789 near the Gamtoos River in Eastern Cape of South Africa. She was born to the Khoisan people, one of the oldest indigenous groups in South Africa with a rich cultural history. Now, life wasn't easy. Sarah's mother died when she was only 2 years old, and her father was a cattle driver who passed away when she was still young. By her teenage years, she had already experienced immense amount of pain. She was engaged to be married, but her fiancé was murdered by Dutch colonialists. If that wasn't enough, she was then forced into servitude by a Dutch farmer in Cape Town. Y'all, let's just stop here for a second. Imagine being a teenager, losing your entire family, and then being forced to work for the same people who killed your fiancé. Sarah's life was already full of struggles before she even left Africa. While Sarah was working in Cape Town, she caught the attention of two men, Hendrik Caesars, a free black man, and Alexander Dunlop, a Scottish doctor. Now, these men didn't see Sarah as a person. They saw her as profit. They convinced her to travel to Europe, telling her she'd become rich and famous. Y'all know that trick. When people sell you a dream, but it's really a nightmare wrapped in a pretty package. Well, that's exactly what happened to Sarah. In 1810, she boarded a ship to London, thinking she was stepping into a better life. But the reality was pure exploitation. Now, I'd like to add in here that from my research, some historical facts say that she was kidnapped. Some say she was an indentured servant, and some say she was basically a slave. So I just wanted to add that in so we can have a fuller picture. In London, Sarah was forced to perform as a freak show attraction. She was given the name Hottentot Venus, and crowds would pay to stare at her body. She was made to dance and parade in degrading outfits while people pointed, laughed, and dehumanized her. It wasn't just about entertainment. Sarah became a symbol of racist pseudoscience as Europeans used her image to justify their twisted ideas about African people. The treatment of Sarah sparked outrage among abolitionists who took her case to court, but because of manipulation or fear, testified that she was performing by choice. The show continued, and so did her suffering. And the more that we learn, grow, and evolve as people, it sounds like she possibly suffered from Stockholm Syndrome, which in short is basically siding with your captor. My algorithm is telling me that you're watching, but you're not subscribing. Quit treating me like the cousin you don't like. Subscribe and share. In 1814, Sarah was taken to Paris, where things got even worse. She was sold to an animal trainer who made her perform in even larger audiences. This was also the time when the so-called scientists started studying her body as if she was some kind of specimen. One of them, George Cuvier, examined her extensively, trying to prove racial theories about African women. She was treated like an object, not a human being, and by 1815, her health had deteriorated. After years of abuse, poor living conditions, and likely alcoholism, who could blame her, she passed away December 29th, 1815, at just 26 years old. Now you'd think that would be the end, right? That a life that was so tortured would be able to rest. But no. Even in death, Sarah wasn't granted peace. Instead of being buried with dignity, Cuvier dissected her body, and for over a century, her remains, including a cast of her body, was displayed in a museum in France. Can you imagine? Animals are treated with more dignity than they gave Sarah. A woman who had already suffered so much was still being treated like an object even after her death. Sarah's remains were showcased all over for centuries, feeding into the racial, sexist stereotypes about Black women. But here's where her story takes a turn. For years, South African activists fought for Sarah to be brought back home. Finally, in 2002, after 187 years, oh my God, her remains were returned to South Africa, where she was given a proper burial. Don't you just love a good ending? Sarah Baartman's story isn't just history. It reminds us of how Black bodies have been dehumanized for centuries. But today, she stands as a symbol of resilience, dignity, and the fight for justice. We say her name so she is never forgotten. Sarah Baartman. Sarah Baartman, thank you for your strength, your resilience, and your story. Though the world tried to reduce you to a spectacle, you were and always will be a woman of dignity, culture, and humanity. You endured unimaginable pain, yet your legacy lives on, not as they defined you, but as you truly were. Powerful, worthy, and unforgettable. Rest in peace, knowing that we remember you, we honor you, and we will continue to speak your name with love and respect. Sarah Baartman. Cousins, Sarah Baartman's story isn't just history. It's a lesson. It shows us how Black bodies have been exploited and dehumanized for centuries. But Sarah's legacy is also one of resilience. She went through a lot before she was even an adult. Today, she is seen as a symbol of Black womanhood, dignity, and a fight for justice. We say her name because she deserves to be remembered, not as a spectacle, but as a human being who matters. What do you think about the Sarah Baartman story? Have you heard of her before? How do you feel knowing what she went through? Let's talk about it in the comments. And y'all know what to do, because I have the flu. Like, share, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into our history. Until next time, cousins. Bye. My algorithm is telling me that you're watching, but you're not subscribing. Quit treating me like the cousin you don't like. Subscribe and share. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for any upcoming videos. Bye, cousins.